Hi guys, today's card is something I'm really proud of. I love this. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And you know what I like best about this card? It's a snow globe sort of card. You can see I've got some glitter inside there. It just reminds me of all my Christmases growing up as a young child. We always had snow globes around. So to make today's card, the products that we're going to be using are the Spellbinder's Heirloom Ornament for 2011, and to cut the aperture out of it, I'm using the classic oval large size. My background is going to be made using the Holiday Magic Embossability and the Spellbinder's Scallop Borders. They're absolutely stunning, I think. And I've used the sentiment out of the Creative Expressions Winter Greetings. All right, let's show you what we did to begin with. First thing I've done is I'm going to cut the scallop borders, and I've lined up 2 of the decorative inserts along with 1 more of the edge dies, okay? So there's quite a bit here to cut. So we're gonna see if we can get it through in a couple of passes. So let's get out our cutting plate. And I like to put the borders this direction so that the pressure on the machine rolls all the way across it. So let's run this through. And I tell you what, I'm just going to clear through the die. I can feel it click, and then I'm going to go back again to give it a little bit extra. And let's see if that's done the trick. That looks really nice to me. Now, what we do next is we are going to do some embossing, okay? So let's get it set up. I'm going to emboss it while it's still in the die using the Holiday Magic, and I want this side of it. I'm going to just take that little piece off the end and line the top of that up with my embossability and tape it there. And I think I'll tape both sides just to be a little bit more secure. There we go. I'm going to put my tan mat on the top of that because we're not going to fold that folder closed, okay? And I'm going to add a couple of pieces of cardstock as a shim. And the raspberry plate is what we're going to top our sandwich with. Pass it through the grand caliper. And let's see what it looks like. Ooh, it's looking lovely. Untape it. Move that out of the way. Now, got that removable tape here, so let's take that off. Get that out of there. And take our dies apart, and they are taped also. So just gently peel back the tape. So remember, you've got that in your embossing now, so it's going to be stuck really nicely. Okay, and let's take our dies apart. You know, one of the other things I meant to show you was when you line these up, they've got these little notches on them, right here and here. So you can tell when you've centered them with your card by just centering the notches too. It's a really nice feature, these dies. Gently pull it apart. Let's get this side. Oh, absolutely stunning. And a little pokey tool to take out some of the little bits. You've got a lot of curly cues in here, so just be gentle with it. And we're going to put these back onto our magnetic sheet so we don't lose them. Good habit to get into. So now you can see I've got the embossing all the way up to that scallop border because I've left the dies in place. Really gets a pretty feature along the bottom. So let's put that onto our background that we've prepared using a little bit of double-sided tape, and then we'll move on to do the feature of our card. I think one more piece should do it. You could probably take a little bit extra time and put a little bit of glue around the bottom there, but just for the demonstration, I think this is going to be fine. So there we go. I've got a little bit of a silver edge peeking out from underneath it. So I'll set that aside, and we're going to work on our ornament. Okay, now what I've already done is I've gone ahead and taped into place the largest size of the heirloom ornament. And using one of the ovals from the set, that's going to cut my aperture. And I've already, ahead of time, stamped my sentiment and cut it out already with the same size ornament, but done it ahead of time. So let's just cut this piece. So bring back our cutting plate. We'll pop that one in, put the base plate on top of that, run it through the machine. Don't worry about that cracking noise you hear. It's really common with some of the simpler shapes. Set this aside. There we go. And we've got a gorgeous aperture cut out of our ornament. Take our tape off. I'll show you what we have, and let's get rid of that piece, move it out of the way. So this is going to create the opening for our snow globe. So you can see you'll have the sentiment coming through. We need to build that up. So what I've done ahead of time is I've added on my acetate, and I'll show you just real quickly. What you'll need to do is tape a little piece of acetate. In fact, we'll just go ahead and do that for you. Let's see, probably about that size. That should work. And I just use a little bit of tape, a little bit of double-sided tape around my image, and tape it into place. And I would go all the way around it. And I'll put my acetate on there and just trim away the excess bit so it doesn't show from the front of my ornament. It's hard to see with the clear acetate, so let's just be careful to go around that. But make sure it's good taped in place so you've got a piece here with the acetate in the window, okay? Then you're going to build this up, and you want to use foam pieces with a little bit of depth to them so you can put something inside. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take them off first, because once I put the inside sprinkles in there, I don't want to have to be moving it about. So let's take this off and peel off all of our little bits. And the other thing is you need to make sure that you don't have any holes. This needs to be touching all the way around, or your sprinkles and glitter and things will fall out, okay? So be really careful that that's touched on every piece and made a complete closed circle there. A few more. And I've used a double height here just to give it a little bit extra dimension. Okay. So now I've got this piece right here, and what I'm going to do, I'm using the Cosmic Shimmer Ice Snow. These are, I just love these. You've got some really chunky bits in here, so it's got some drama to it. It's an easier, and I think it's more elegant looking than just plain glitter. So what I would recommend, rather than pouring that, I've got a little spoon, I'm just going to take a little bit and put it in here. All right? And it doesn't take much. That should be plenty to show. So put that aside. Now, I've got my sentiment I've already stamped, and all I'm going to do is line this up, and I have to lean over to kind of see if I'm in line. I apologize if I'm blocking the view. There we go. Give it a good press so it's adhered nice. I'm going to turn it upside down, and you've got a gorgeous snow globe type ornament. You can see our sprinkles working back and forth there. Isn't that pretty? So let's put this into place. I think I'll just use a little bit of mounting foam for that. That would probably be the quickest way to go. We'll finish this off like that. And I think just a little bit of an extra accent. I've tied a messy bow with some silver seam binding. It's a very subtle silver. It's really, really pretty. I'll go ahead and put it on, but I tell you what, I'll show you how we tie those. Let's just pop that into place. I'm going to use a little glue dot, put that on the top of my ornament. And I've got some of the seam binding here. It comes in a large roll. So what I do is I tend to use 3 lengths on this. I'll pull off about this much, go down a little further, and go back up. That's about right. And then I'll cut it. So I haven't actually cut the ribbon yet. I'm just going to lay it on top of each other. So I've got one little folded piece here and the other end, and these are going to be my tails. And I'm just going to pinch it between my thumb and forefinger, make a loop, pinch it again, wrap it around, just like you're tying your shoelaces. Push it through and grab it with the other finger. Get all 3 of those loops. And I bring my thumb up through those and I grab the bottom pieces with my fingers and I tug and pull. And then you can just play about with it until you get the length of loops that you want, that you're happy with. And I separate them by giving them a tug and pulling them apart. Now I call it a messy bow, that's kind of my name for it, just because with this type of bow, you just want it to kind of do whatever it wants to do. There's enough there in the way of the ribbon that it will kind of cover and be pretty. And then I just cut them at an angle away from me. There we go. Gorgeous. And you can adjust the size on those if you like, but I like to give them a real nice tug. And then to finish them off, we have these lovely, brand new, small pearl embellishments, and I'm nuts about these. We've had them in the larger size, which have been one of my favorite things. Now they're available in a smaller size. So if you're not as confident with the big ribbon, these are a perfect embellishment for those. Now they're flat backed. All you need to do is put them on with some Cosmic Shimmer glue or a glue dot, pop them onto the center of your bow, and you are sorted. Isn't that pretty? Just think it's a perfect embellishment for Christmas cards. So there you go. We've got a gorgeous Christmas card that reminds me of all my Christmas past when I was growing up. And I think your friends would love to receive a card like this too.